Welcome to the Connected Enterprise Podcast. This is Carl Lewis, your host from Vision33. And my guest today is Darin Dawson from BombBomb. Darin, welcome. And start off by telling us about yourself and BombBomb.
Thanks, Carl. Appreciate it, man. Great to be here. About me, I'm first and foremost, I'm a husband and a dad. I've been married 15 years to my favorite person. And I love that. And I got children, three kids, 2 girls and a boy. I have twin girls. I'm blessed with 9-year-old twins. So twin girls. So that's awesome. And BombBomb, I'm the co-founder and president. So I run everything to do with revenue, customer success, marketing, sales, and a bit of the product. And I've been there since 2011 full time. Started with my best friends in 2006. Quit my day job in 2011. And the whole idea is that we think that you're better face to face than you are over text, black text on a white screen, or even maybe text on your phone. We think that people have intrinsic value, and that we share things when we're in person, non-verbally, that don't come across in some of these technological advancements that we've had in the last few years. So we love that. We try and enable people to be their best selves through video.
Yeah, I went to your site and I did a little recording myself that I sent to my buddy on his birthday. And
Awesome.
He was really, really impressed by that, right? That you get a personal, kind of video greeting. So I do think it has power for sure. You and I have talked a little bit about all the stuff that people are doing with AI these days. Yeah. And, tell us what you think about a lot of the AI communications type stuff that's happening.
Yeah, listen, we've talked about this a lot. You're right. And I do think it has a place, but sometimes we just got to ask ourselves, is it the right thing to do, even though we can do it? Right.
Yeah.
I think I always use this analogy that we're going to spend some time together, maybe half an hour or so. And after I get done with this, and after you get done with this, we'll both maybe have an inbox full of solicitations or email, and I'll have LinkedIn messages. I might have a text. I might have a voicemail from somebody trying to sell me an extended warranty on my car. It's like nonstop. It's just nonstop. I mean, I never get a call anymore unless it's someone just trying to do something. And I think I call it digital pollution. It's just, we've escalated it. It's just like more and more and more. Now I feel like we're using technology to just increase the arms race, if you will, because if I send more emails, then you got to send more emails, and then we got to just keep ratcheting up, and you amplify that times maybe 1,200 companies who have maybe you and I on their ideal customer profile list. I'm not saying it shouldn't be done. Maybe it shouldn't be done though. I just encourage people to think about, what is your ideal customer profile? Maybe if I just reached across and said, hey, Carl, my name's Darin. I work with a company called BombBomb. I won't take much of your time, but value proposition, introduce yourself. It should be more like, I think, maybe I bumped into you at an event and we shook hands and we got to know each other a little bit. I think we need to be more human. I got this background behind me now. It's like, we need to be thinking about building relationships before we think about the transaction. And I think that's old school selling in a way. I always like to say I'm a classically trained salesperson. I'm like a Brian Tracy, Zig Ziglar, listening to tapes in the car as I drove around. So yeah. I just have a desire to see more people bring in an experience to their customers. It's more human. I think people choose those companies because of how those people make them feel, how your people make other people feel, more than features or a brand. It's more about the people. They decide to work with people they know, like, and trust. So yeah, we can go off in a lot of different ways there, but
well, speaking my language about all that, the humanity parts of that, because that's really what has always been exciting to me about business is the people that you meet and
the relationships you build over the years.
Customers become more than customers, right? You become almost like partners in business together. You're helping each other, and that ends up being valuable. If they have a problem, they know who to come to, right? And they can rely on you. So what I saw when I was, doing this little test that I did for my buddy and saying happy birthday was it's another, GM on our team, and it stands out, right? When you get it in your inbox, right? Because I typically go through my list and I preview them, and right away it's got, your picture and, there's a play button, right? Yeah. And so it stands out in that list of all the garbage emails that you get, because, you've got to click on each and every one of them. I get so much of that stuff in one of my email addresses that I almost have a tendency to just sort of click the top one and the bottom one and delete the whole chunk.
I do it every day. It's a click, shift, delete. I know the motion.
It's because I know that particular email, is not going to get anything that I got to have right away. And
well, I think the other part of that is do you actually believe that a human sent it anymore?
Not many of them, right? I think
right.
a lot
when
of
you
it
look
is
at it,
automated.
even if it says their name, you maybe they did. I just don't believe that it's actually a person doing it. I think that makes it easier for me to delete it and not care.
Yeah,
right.
I think you're right.
It removes some of that human connection about this person's actually thinks that they can really help me, or is it just some sort of programmatic approach to that? So I think that disbelief that it's actually a real person in the text, in the phone call, it's not. How many phone calls? They're robots made to sound human. And I just think we don't believe it anymore. That makes it easier to be ignored.
Yeah.
And it just again, this escalation occurs.
Yeah. It reminds me of, when I was a kid, there were several ways to fish, right? And one of them was, the old fashioned way you put a worm on the hook and you got a bobber and you sit patiently for hours to catch that fish. The other way was, you could cast with a spinner, right? And a lot of the AI stuff that we do today feels like the spinner, right? It's just, there's more action involved all the time. So if you're one of those companies doing it, and it's like anybody I've ever purchased anything from online has got to send me at least an email a week at this point, right? Maybe more. Some of them
just
every
to
day.
Break through the noise. Yeah.
And I think what we've fallen prey to is we think more is better, right? And as the receiver, you're going, actually more is not better. It almost turns my mind sort of away from a company that constantly is sort of banging you all the time, right?
Yeah.
It's like what I would like them to do with AI is sort of really know my profile. And when you've got something that really fits that, then let me know about it. But I don't need to know about every sale you've got and all those things. So I think you're onto something there.
Yeah. Using the AI to bring more value. That's, we got to think about that, right? How can it bring, because there is a place for it. Obviously it's going to, I think in some of the chat functionality, it's wonderful. But when I'm trying to really bring what I call it human-centered communication, and it's this idea, what we mean by that is where I care more about you as the recipient and the experience you have with me than I do with the objective I have for doing the activity.
Yeah.
Do I actually care more about your outcomes than I do about mine? Because what I think about this escalation is it's not that, is we care more about our outcomes than yours. Right. That is flipping it. The original ideas of our entrepreneurs are solving people's problems and helping them. I think we can do that better when they see a person with sincerity, authenticity, transparency. I can turn this screen off. You can see my basement. I don't think there's anything wrong with that. There's a Peloton right back here, everyone. So, I just think that that's a better way to approach it. And it's more like shooting with a rifle as an old sales analogy versus the shotgun approach. And that I do believe that less is more to the right people. Identify which your addressable market is and go after those. But that should look like maybe 100 to 200 a person, not 1,000 a person on your team, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Well, hey, tell me some examples of, maybe the way that you guys have used, the video and email, combination, and other customers and things that they've done that, that been unique.
The thing that you said is one of the most popular, and it's not just that it was happy birthday. It's a message of gratitude, right? Yeah. It's by you sending a message to someone, a human, and you're saying happy birthday, John, whatever, Mary, Dale. The human being on the other end receives that and feels something, right? That you care about them. And then you get a reciprocal feeling of that. So that gratitude piece is a big deal. And I think where we see it implemented and where we teach people to implement it is in a lot of different places. I'll give you a few. One, customers. So whenever I get a new customer, it comes to me from Salesforce and I send off an email. It's a video and I say, hey, Carl, I just saw that you signed the contract with us. I just want to be one of the first people to say thank you so much for being a BombBomb customer. It means a lot to me. If there's anything I can ever personally do for you, please let me know. I like to be hands-on, and it's not above me to do whatever I need to do, make you successful with our product. So something like that to each and every person. Each one's different. It's not scripted. Mm-hmm. You can tell I've done that a few times. Yeah. But that feeling of gratitude for your business, again, do you think that customer feels like this business takes care of their customers differently than others I've worked with. And I want that in the experience from the beginning of your interactions with us to the end, right? Another thing I like to do because of COVID, I found to be very effective is a Friday video to the entire company. I send it out to keep everybody up to speed. I want them to see me. I want them to hear me, remember what I look like, even though we haven't necessarily seen each other as much on a regular basis in the last year.
Yep.
But see that I care and see what I'm passionate about. And then I also do something where if you're new to the business, or, I'll ask your manager what you've been up to, how you're doing. I'll say, hey, John told me you're crushing it. Hey, good job. Just want to say, keep it up. I'm glad you're here. I mean, how can we retain people in this environment these days? Like, it's fragmented. Everybody's working from home and you're kind of get alone in your own space. And how do you feel again, like you're a part of a culture and a team? So I like doing that. And I like welcoming people to the business, people that are new. We hire people, right? And I'd usually walk up and I'd shake their hand and say, thanks so much for coming. I'm glad you're here. We need you. But you can't do that in person. So I do it through video. Mm-hmm. So those are, I think one more use case would be in the customer success, through the sales process, you have these handoffs, right? Maybe the account executive, another great way is to do a proposal overview with video. Mm-hmm. And they send that out. But then let's say you close that deal and you hand this off to, Elia on our team who's in customer success. Well, that transfer of, hey, Carl, it's been great working with you. Now I'm not going anywhere, but Elia is really going to help you onboard. They're going to onboard your team. She's going to set up everything. I just want to introduce you to her. And then you can have Elia right there being, hey, Carl, I'm Elia. I work with a lot of companies like yours. I'm excited to meet you. That handoff experience is a big deal. So there's a couple for you. I hope that enough.
Yeah, that's good. Those are really good ideas. I think you're right, though, that it makes you sort of personalize things better. Most of it, I'm not the type of person that finds it really easy to write what I necessarily think or know about a person into a sort of a happy birthday message, right?
Sure.
But when I'm speaking, it's like it's more connected to me somehow. And so, in the greeting that I did, I was able to, just say, hey, I know you're going to have a great time there with, Peggy and the kids and the grandkids and the dogs. And because I know all about this guy, right?
Totally. Yeah.
That would never come out in a little text or something like that.
Sometimes it looks weird when it's written.
Yeah, exactly.
But when you say it's completely natural.
Yeah, because it has that, the human intonation, and you feel the compassion, and it's hard to put that on paper, right? For that tone can't come out in paper, right? And I think that's part of the humanity that we're talking about. So
I'm excited about it, man. I've been passionate about it since 2006. That's why we started the company. Yeah. I just feel like, everybody says, well, what's the ROI? And there is. I mean, we've done case studies on this that, people who are just do outbound with phone and text email versus, video. It's the story is there that it actually takes less video output than the rest. So you can reduce our digital pollution footprint, right? That's what we're trying to do. You can, but I challenge this idea. Like, I just feel like your people are better and worth to be seen. That I would love to get to the point where we stop saying, well, what's the ROI of video? Almost like, well, what's the ROI of the telephone or email in a business context? We need to feel that our business is different than others. I think, me and my competitors, we can get into a feature race. I mean, it's just money. It's what I need to build features, right? Like, we can all have the same features. Why do you choose me? Yeah, I think you choose me because you like Justin, who was the account executive who went over and above. But how do you get to feel like Justin through this digital transformation we're going through with COVID, where everything's remote? How do you feel like you knew him? It used to be the guy would take you out to dinner. He'd come to your boardroom and you'd sit down and you'd meet the team. You're like, I like that guy. He's going to take care of us. We choose them. Yeah. How do you do that now, right? This has been a popular topic, this digital transformation. How do we work from home? How do we make these feelings? We're trying to recreate these, how we feel about a company. I just think it's a big problem we got to figure out.
Yeah, it is. And, I don't think we'll ever sort of bridge that gap 100%, right? With virtual meetings like we're having today.
We still need to get face-to-face, by the way. Yeah. I'm not proposing we supplant even what I'm talking about for that. I think you're right. Yeah, absolutely. I'm a big fan of relationships is the number one core value of BombBomb. that relationships matter in business.
But I think we get so much closer to it, when we can sort of, I don't know, it doesn't feel as digital, right? When it's visual and it's personal.
Yeah.
And
when I say your name, your brain goes, he's talking to you, right? It's a physiological thing that happens to other human beings. And in the nonverbal communication that your brain's picking up on, we've been doing that since the beginning of time. We've only had some of this technology since the 70s, right? It's new, by the way, versus this nonverbal. Obviously, I talk with my hands, how we annotate tone. Those things are ancient as we are.
Yeah, exactly. Well, you've invested in this, and throughout your company, you're obviously using this technology that you guys are selling as well. Is it a big investment for a company to sort of equip their staff to be able to do this type of thing on a routine, regular basis?
Yeah, I think it comes down to, I'm using a Mac laptop with a camera in it. Same thing I use when I do my videos for BombBomb. So I think the equipment pretty much exists. We've come into some situations where it didn't in a large enterprise where we did recommend external cameras as a better solution. But other than that, your machines pretty much come stock with what they need these days. And thankfully, since 2006, back then, the internet connection couldn't even deal with it. Right. The technology wasn't there. The iPhone didn't have a camera in it at the time. So, we offer a mobile app. So we offer lots of different ways to implement that. But the technology has helped us a ton. The biggest overcoming obstacle really is people do get worried and about what they look like on camera. That's the biggest thing to overcome. And it's a psychological thing. At BombBomb, we're pretty proud that we probably as a team sent over 700,000 something, I think is where our numbers gotten to, personal videos. I have one sales rep that sent over 20,000 by himself. Wow. Personal videos. Once you get over the hump, and I think it's like a 10 to 15 video thing, that eating better is better for you and in long term will give you better health. It's really like that with video, that once you see yourself, you overthink maybe how you looked or how you appeared. And so you want to change it. And a lot of people don't send it. My encouragement would be just to send it. And like you did, send it to somebody that you're going to get that reciprocity back. Like, Carl, that was awesome. I love that. Because that encourages you to keep eating your carrots. Because this is very much sometimes like eating your vegetables. But then send the next one and send the next one. Then maybe bring that into your business context and begin to send that to people that you're interacting with. I use it on LinkedIn. I use it through text. I use it in email. I use it in social media, LinkedIn. I said that other social media outlets like Messenger and stuff. So I don't send text emails anymore unless it's like, yeah, Carl, I'll be there. Right. If it's 2 seconds or something, I would rather send a video because I want them to see me and feel that experience of what we're face to face. Yeah.
No, that's really good. I can certainly see that. I was kind of wondering in my own mind, there's an awful lot of people that sit at their desk at a phone all day long, right? Trying to connect with people and then follow up with an email. And I would think, the follow-up might be a lot more effective if it was a video.
Yeah. Right? The ghosted sales rep is one of the problems we attempt to solve. And again, we do that through the recipient experience more than the user experience. Let me explain. So when you get a BombBomb video, you might have noticed this. Your friend, he could have liked it. He could have commented on it. Mm-hmm. He could have done several different things. You would know how much of it he played. So that gives you more data around what interest level do they have. Now, what I know about, I might know if you opened an email or not through technology, but I don't know if you listened to the entire voicemail, or I don't know if you read the email. So what we're trying to give you is how do you know what level of engagement there even was? Was it just a no play, no engagement whatsoever? And so we try and give you that data back so you can formulate an opinion of, they are, okay, I'm going to rate their engagement at a 7 versus a 10 or a 1 versus a 10. So you can scale that and decide for yourself, this person actually is, and they deserve a repeat or more, more interactions, because maybe they just didn't have time. And I can quickly just say, yep, like this or something, or I can say, love it. or not for me, or whatever it is. We give you lots of different ways for them to engage and let you know the message was received, heard, understood.
Yeah, I did see that, where they can comment and where the tracking device tells you how much of it they watched and things like that. So I think that's all pretty cool. And we'll see how my listeners pick up on this idea, because I think it's really intriguing and it's fun as well. I think it adds a new dimension to communications. Most people that I know are kind of bored over this last year with kind of, just feels very repetitious right now. Yeah. And it's like today was a big day for me because I got to go get my second shot. Right.
So that's awesome, man.
I got to get out of the house. Right.
Yeah, exactly. I had to go down to the office yesterday, downtown, and I'm like, I'm driving. I'm out and about.
Yeah, no, it's fun. So yeah, just, I think it breaks the monotony of the way that we all work, and would make somebody's day to have a personal message that was truly personal, right?
I'm super biased about it, but I haven't looked back for a while. I think I'm on like maybe in the 7,000 personal video range now. Like, just keep going, and it's fun to see people's reactions. It's new. It's still new sometimes when people get me like, whoa, what's this? And I think that's interesting too, that it's still novel in a way, but I'm working hard to make it not be.
Yeah, I hear that. Well, hey, we really appreciate your being here, Darin. Great technology.
Thanks,
I'm always talking to folks, about how they can stay in touch with, their customers, their employees, their vendors, right? Now, I think you can take this to your friends, your family, everything that's throughout life. And it's just a really great way to do it in our very, very different kind of a world. So
thanks for those words, man. I really appreciate you and the time you spent with me today.
Yeah. Take care. And for everybody, stay connected.